Hi everybody, Happy New Year. First video on the Jacklore Knives channel of the new year 2023. Hope you had a good Christmas. Let's fingers crossed, hope it's going to be a good new year as well. I've got quite a lot of knives on the bench at the moment, mostly in stainless steel. I've got some 01 4mm tapered tang classics in the other part of the workshop, but they're needing a bit more work doing to them yet before I get them ready for finishing. So I'm currently working on all the stainless steel knives, and once they're out of the way then I'll go back to the carbon steel. So I'll show you what I got on the bench, and then I'll give you a rough idea when I think I'll have some available. Well, these are the knives I've currently got on the bench. These are all 3mm stainless steel SF100. These over here, these are 4mm. I do all my thicker knives 4mm in 01 carbon steel. So I've got four camp knives on the go. All heat treated. These haven't had the bevel grinds put on yet, and they're just they need to be hand finished. You can see the temper colours on the pommels of these. So not sure I'm going to get them finished in January though. I've got a lot of things to do in January besides finishing these knives. It's also the month that the taxman wants his paperwork handed in, so just do what I can really. So anyway, starting from left to right and top to bottom, I've got three hunter-gatherers SF100, as I said earlier. I've got four classics, I've got two bibby knives, four Hornets, and three Wasp XLs. So next stage for these is to hand sand the flats. They've had that's just a wheel finish, machine finish on there at the moment. So I got to go over and hand sand those. It's a bit of work to do on each of these knives, and then I've got to put the final grip on the bevel grind on. So that's not quite the final finish yet. Yesterday I made up the mosaic pins. Not much to look at the moment, but even to get to that stage there's a fair bit of work. So I've got to reduce the diameters of the internals to get four of them to fit in. And when they're finally finished, they give you that lovely quad mosaic sort of furniture, which you can see in the finished scales. Some of them have got larger diameter holes. The holes also have a purpose. These larger holes here, these are just the weight reduction and glue holes to allow the glue to go through. But the holes that the pins will go through are these here. And all the SF100, sorry, all the hunter-gatherers have all been drilled for the mosaic pins. Where you see a smaller diameter hole like those on that classic there, that's for loveless bolts. So that's the stainless steel knives and the four camp knives. I've also been busy stabilising some wood for these knives. So a lot of the knives I'm going to be fitting really high grade walnut. It's beautiful stuff. This I think it's American black walnut, but it's got some beautiful figure in it. The larger blocks, like this block here, these larger blocks, these would be for the camp knives, and the smaller blocks will be for the knives with the smaller handles, the classics and what have you. But look at the grain. You can see some of the grain patterning in that. They're all really nice. beautiful pieces of wood, as I say, been stabilised. So walnut's particularly difficult wood to stabilise. It takes a long time, and these have been soaking in the resin under 4 bar of pressure for about 2 weeks, and I only yesterday heat cured them. So I'm excited to see how these are going to come out. I'm hopeful they're going to make some stunning knives. As you can see, I haven't been lazy. I've been busy doing bits and pieces. In fact, the stainless steel I started just before Christmas, and I was working over Christmas getting it to where I am with it now, and just now approaching the final stages. And of course, I've got the leatherwork to do. Some of the leatherwork I've done already, some of it is still needing to be done. There's always work to be done. So I expect I'm going to have some of these knives completed in the next week to 2 weeks, and certainly I'd like to think I'll have the majority of them finished by the end of this month, the end of January. So I'll post any updates as to when the knives become available on my website, but as I say, they're not going to be available for another week at least. And also I'll do an Instagram post to let people know as well. I have got a couple of old customers that have already sort of asked for some of the knives, so they've already got some homes to go to, but the vast majority of what you saw in this video will be available and will be on the website at some point toward the end of January. Well, fast forward a few days, and I've got this hunter-gatherer almost completed now. I've worked through the grits. I'm currently working on 7,000, and I find that with stabilised woods you can get the paper to work better if you spray a little bit of WD-40 or light oil onto the handle. If I was working with unstabilised woods, I'd probably just use a little bit of boiled linseed oil. But anyway, yeah, I think what the oil does, it keeps the debris in suspension and stops it from clogging the paper, and the paper works more effectively, or it appears to anyway. So that's the knife handle finished. Just a matter of wiping it down now and drying it off. I'm just applying some finish now to one of the danglers. I've got the bibby sheaths here, so they're just going to have to go into a warm place to let that the golden mink oil, this is the product I use for the leather work, let the golden mink oil become absorbed into the leather, and then that's then given a polish up, and that's how I finish the sheaths. And the same for the danglers as well. So I haven't, this needs the press studs fitted, but I find it's easier to apply the golden mink oil first and then fit the press studs the next day when all the leather conditioner and preserver has gone into the leather then. So all that lot will go into my warm dry cabinet, and that just heats the sheaves up to a nice warm temperature, and easier for the golden mink ore to become absorbed into the leather. So that's where they're going to go now. Yeah, that's right, that's a bowl of warm water. That's the sheath, one of the knives. This is for the hunter-gatherer. I'll show you that knife in a minute. But I've just got a wet form it. At the moment you see it's sort of quite thin. There's no sort of 3D to it. It's just a flat sheath after I've stitched it together. So it goes into the water. Leave it for a minute or two, and the water will soften the leather, and then I can wet form the sheath. There's a knife in question, the hunter-gatherer, all wrapped up in cling film, just to protect it from the dampness, although it shouldn't need much protection because it's a stainless steel blade and it's a stabilised handle. So anyway, let's do some wet forming. The sheath's been in the water now a couple of minutes, so it should mould quite nicely. I can feel it's quite soft. You've got to be careful not to dig your fingernails in if you've got fingernails. Drain all the water out. Gently push the knife in. And then what I do, let's put that down there for a sec. Get some kitchen roll, because that helps to absorb some of the excess moisture which is in the sheath now as you're squeezing it. And then just basically squeeze and form the sheath around the knife. You can see it starting to take on the shape of the knife. Well, I showed you the knife progress in the workshop. I thought I'd show you the progress on the leather. There's another aspect to the business, and this in its own right is just a complete job as well. So I've got 4 sheaths for the camp knives you saw, the 01 camp knives. So they still need to be ground, but this will eventually be the sheaths for them. So sheaths here and welts there. Underneath that, I've already got, in various states of progression, a couple more sheaths and welts for the hunter-gatherer knives. These are all for classics. Neck knife sheaths, these ones here. Smaller ones are for the wasps, larger ones are for the hornets, and these are the straps, if you can imagine it, that will go like that, and a press stud. You get the idea. And welts to go in there for that. And here is a whole batch of danglers. I cut out a large batch of danglers. They need to be dyed up, and then the edges have to be slicked to make them nice and smooth. And then they go into the drying cabinet, and then they come out of the drying cabinet, and then they get the mink ore like you seen me do earlier, and then they go back into the drying cabinet. It's just a hell of a long-winded process. The whole lot of it is so laborious, but that's all part of handmade knives and sheaths. You can't get away from that. So hopefully you can see that I've been busy. There's a lot on the go, and a lot of things happen over time, and then the culmination is that you have a batch of knives that become finished. Like but I've still got a large number of knives I've got to finish off. But I have got 3 that I finished now. I've got 2 beautiful bibby knives, and I'll show you these in more detail in a minute. And I got 1 hunter-gatherer. So let's look at one of the bibbies to start off with. So this one, these knives have I hasten to add already have people that have that want them. This is that lovely walnut that I showed you in the block form. Well, this is how it looks when it's been finished and hand sanded to about 7,000. You can see some lovely grain in the wood. Sorry about that, I had a visitor and dogs went off on one, which they always do. Yeah, so anyway, let's have a look at these knives that I finished. First of all, the bibby. So there you are. Where was I with it? I was showing you the lovely wood, wasn't I? So this is a SF100 stainless steel blade. Red G10 liners, as you can see, through tan construction. So really pleased with how that handle's come out. So that's the first one. The next knife to hand is the hunter-gatherer. So this is for Bill. SF100 blade again. There's the stabilised walnut. Red G10 liners. So there you are, that's the hunter-gatherer. Lastly, another bibby. Let's get that camera to focus. There we are. Quite what they're barking at, I don't know. We've got another visitor. Jade, yeah. So that's the second bibby knife. So that's the work I've done and I've got ready. And as you see, I've got those 3 knives have all been accounted for. I've got, as you saw previously, I've got loads of other knives in the process of being finished, and over the next couple of weeks I'll probably have most of them finished because I've done a lot of the work to them already. And as I say, that batch of knives that you saw in the workshop earlier in this video, I started that before Christmas, so it takes you it just takes a long time to be able to get everything to come together, and then the stages I've got to do with them now are just fitting the handles, shaping the handles, building the leatherwork, wet forming and finishing the sheaths, and then they're ready to go out. So I'm probably going to have a lot more knives coming available next week and the week after, and perhaps even the week after that. So if you're waiting to get a knife, you might be in with a chance over the next few weeks. They're all stainless apart from the 4 camp knives that I've got. I think I've also got, I'm pretty sure, yeah, got some 4mm. Got some 4mm tapered tangs. These are classics. These need hand hand finishing, scales fitting, so not a lot of work required to get them up to readiness either. So yeah, a lot of knives coming available hopefully in the next few weeks. So that's about it from here. Thanks for watching. First video on the Jacklore Knives channel this year, so wish you all happy new year, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.